Hi, I'm Janet. I'm the owner of Green Gables Alpacas in Birch Hill. Welcome to the farm. This is Griswold. Now, Griswold is a llama. Griswold is not an alpaca, but llamas and alpacas actually are kind of cousins. They're from the same family. And of all the animals on my property, he's actually my favorite. So I have a herd of about 39 alpacas and of course one llama, Griswold. Alpacas are from the South American Andes. And although it can get hot in the Andes Mountains, they're not accustomed to the kind of heat and humidity that we get here, and they can suffer heat stress pretty easily. So on a nice day like today, we would hose them down several times. You'll notice that Caleb is hosing them down on their legs. He's hosing them down on their legs. He might do under the belly, on the chest, but he's not hosing them down on the back, and there is reason for that. The reason is, shortly after shearing, if you hose them on the back, they're more prone to sunburn. When they're in fuller fleece, when you hose them on the back, their fleece is so insulating that they'll look soaking wet, but you're actually trapping the heat inside, okay? You're actually gonna make them hotter. Right now we're in with the mums and babies. Definitely a challenge to tell them all apart this year because they're all white this year. I know them all by sight. I know most of them by sound as well, and they all definitely have different personalities. Male and female alpacas should always be kept separate. Even gelded or neutered males should not be housed with females. Alpacas have a very unique breeding anatomy and physiology, which makes housing the sexes together very unsafe for the females. So overbreeding is actually the most common cause of infertility in alpacas, and even gelded males will breed females. So housing the sexes together is very unsafe.
Alpacas have personal space issues. They know that you have arms and they know that you have fingers at the end of your arms, and they tend to stay this distance from you because they mostly don't wish to be touched. They're very curious. They may come up to check you out, but typically if you put your hand out to touch them, they're going to walk away. Inherently, they don't like to be touched. They don't like other alpacas to touch them either. The babies are cute, as you've seen, but it's really important to keep kind of a hands-off approach when you're dealing with babies, because alpacas take a really long time to mature. In my experience, it takes a full 5 years for them to reach full physical and mental maturity, and that's a long time to imprint bad behaviors. So when babies are born, you could encourage them to interact with you, and they'll come up to you and they'll snuggle with you and they'll follow you around, and it's going to be very fun and very cuddly and very playful. And then all of a sudden things are going to change. But what's happened is you've taught that animal that you're a member of the herd. They don't see you as a person, they see you as another alpaca. And if you spend any amount of time watching alpacas, you will realize that alpacas don't treat one another very nicely. They're much more respectful of people than they are of other alpacas. So if you over-socialize those little ones when they're younger, when they become older, they're going to treat you like another alpaca. So they're going to try to intimidate you. They're going to try to push you around. They're going to get into your space. And if it's a male alpaca, he's going to try to mate you, or he's going to try to hurt you because he's going to see you as a rival. So you don't ever want to be seen as an alpaca. You need to be seen as a person. This is so common an issue. It has a name. It is called aberrant behavior syndrome or berserk male syndrome. I don't like berserk male syndrome because that implies it's a male only issue, and it's not. I actually don't like aberrant behavior syndrome because that implies there's something wrong with the animal, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with the animal. The whole situation has everything to do with how the farmer, how the shepherd or shepherdess has raised that animal. So alpacas are considered pseudo-ruminants. They're not true ruminants, not like a cow or a sheep. Alpacas have one stomach and 3 chambers. And their primary diet, 90 to 95% of their diet should be forage. So either pasture or hay or beet pulp, because beet pulp is a forage. We currently feed a very nice second cut orchard grass. Is the primary feed that we feed. We also feed some of our animals some second cut alfalfa as well for any animals who have a little bit of higher nutritional need. Alpacas actually don't eat very much compared to some other livestock species. They eat about 1.5% to 2% of their body weight in hay or pasture a day. In the winter, I'll go through probably about 3 of these square bales a day, and that's it. Okay, so now we're in the new studio, the new shop. This is new for us this year. After we shear our animals, the fiber comes off in different sections. So we'll take off the blanket first, just around the back and around the sides, just like what a horse's blanket would be. That's the prime fleece on any animal. That will go into kind of one bag, and then what's on the neck and on the top of the legs is going to go into another bag, and we call that the seconds. Now often, although not always, the fiber here and here may not be as consistent either in terms of length or in terms of fineness as what you're going to find here. Anyway, once it's off the animal, we will then skirt it. So we'll put it on a table and we'll take out any bits of big vegetation that there might be, any manure balls that might be stuck to it. I'll also take out any shortcuts that there might be. We then put it into the tumbler, and a lot of the dust that's in that fleece is going to come out. The animals spend a lot of time rolling in the dirt, and although you can't tell by looking at them, their fiber is very dusty. From there, we'll bring it in here and I will wash it. So this is a commercial fiber washer from Belfast Mini Mills that's new to us this year. So I can wash the fleeces in here and then dry them. I still have some work to do here, of course. And then once the fleeces are dried, I will batch similar quality fleeces to go to the mill here on the island, and they're then going to turn it into yarn for me, which will come back here, and either I'll sell it as is or I will dye it again here in my dye studio and sell it.
This 2020 is actually my 10th anniversary of being on the island and running the farm. I moved from Hamilton, Ontario 10 years ago to become an alpaca farmer. So I left city and corporate life behind. I used to wear high heels and business suits to work every day. And now I wear rubber boots and Crocs and baseball caps and no makeup. And I actually kind of love it.